are in listen-only mode.
Sweet.
Excellent.
So now the whole world can hear us.
The whole world. So can you tell, you can't see the control panel on my screen, can you?
No.
Okay, good. So you'll be able to tell. Uh-oh. You can't see that?
No.
Good.
We just see your mouse moving, and we know that you're, well, I know that you're dragging something around, but nobody can see it other than just your little mouse thing.
Okay, good.
Which is now 2/3 of the way down the page.
Yep. I'll just move it around to keep things interesting. Actually, there's a little in this 2010, I can get a pen, which is what, who was it last week? What was the person who did the Kindle? He was using this, the little pointer.
Daniel Hall?
Yeah, he was using this pen. I hadn't seen that before.
No, how did he do that?
Here, it's in PowerPoint. I don't want to necessarily do it because, here, I'll try.
PowerPoint?
Yeah, look.
Oh, I see.
Whoa, I'm going to mess it up, but there it is. Now I've messed up my slide.
Now it's totally screwed up.
Oh, little scribble. I'll say one of the kids got at it.
Is there a button?
And you can, yeah, wait, eraser. Let's see what happens, though. I might end up erasing my own stuff.
Hey, Caesar answered. I can't tell, Caesar. Did you answer a question or ask a question?
Oh, I did it.
It says yes. Is that like, yes, it's starting? Or is that yes to a question that I forgot I already asked?
Huh?
Caesar Rivadeneira. Oh, man, it's a cool sounding last name, but I don't know if I can pronounce it. Rivadeneira. Rivadeneira. Oh, it's cool looking.
Okay.
He just wrote yes in the question block.
Does that... Yeah, I can't see that.
Easy. Oh, he was talking about writing on the screen with PowerPoint. Yes, it is easy.
It's great, and I can do a highlighter too.
Nice.
You don't have this in PowerPoint, but what version do you have?
I don't know. I don't know. If I do slides, I just do the slide view, but I don't actually really use it.
Oh, I have it in presenter view so that I have my notes on one monitor. Do you have two monitors?
I used to, but one died, and now I'm down to one 13-inch monitor until I can.
Oh, no.
It's very sad.
I don't know how. You're an internet marketer. Come on.
I know. It's been like 2 months. I've been starving myself.
Don't even say that. I just watched the finale of The Biggest Loser.
The finale?
Yeah, it's on Netflix. My daughter had me watching it for inspiration.
Wait, there's like 4 people left.
No, this is an old season, I think.
Oh.
Which she has me watching with this guy, Danny. Have you ever watched it?
There's a bunch of us named Danny. We're all over the world.
There you go. Oh, it's amazing. It has you in tears, that show.
I can't watch that or Extreme Home Makeover. I'm out.
That's not even for me. I don't even know it exists.
Yeah, they do stuff and it makes me sigh. Uh-oh, it's 7:32. You're 2 minutes late.
Okay. Well.
You better start at the 2-minute point and just keep going.
All right. We ready to go?
I think so.
We have 2 people?
Darren, you ready? We got people. We got staff. We got you.
We're excited.
This is Dan
Let's
Morris
do it.
and Darren Crawford and Sharyn Sheldon. Today we're doing another free weekly mastermind call. Man, we don't even have like volume numbers. I don't know what number this is. This is probably like call number 65C. Today we're talking about PLR, which I'm pretty sure we haven't done a single call on PLR. I'm not even sure if we mentioned it very often. Do you remember, Darren?
No, I don't think we've touched on it maybe once.
So we brought Sharyn on because even though we use PLR, we're not PLR experts. I have audio PLR, I have video PLR, and I have written PLR. And I unfortunately have, I might have 1,000 PLR articles on different subjects, of which I've only used maybe 20. I just bought some good deals that I probably shouldn't have. But anyway, Sharyn knows what she's talking about and thought she would come on. I will let her tell you the bullet points of what we're going over. So anyway, here's Sharyn.
Okay, great. Thanks, Dan. Well, I'm definitely going to get everyone understanding PLR a lot better by the time we're done, what you can do with it, so you can get all that stuff off your hard drive, Dan, and get it used. Because it's really incredible, all the content we have to create all the time. And I don't know anyone who doesn't feel the pressure of constantly having to write and produce more and more content for marketing. So why don't we get right into it, since I have put together a lot of content. And I'm hoping we can get it through all of it and have some time at the end for questions. So, and if you have any questions as we go along, just type them into the chat box, and Dan, you can tell me what they are, and don't hesitate to interrupt me if I'm going too fast, because I can talk a little fast at times.
Ty Nick said hello.
What?
Ty Nick is already saying hello.
Hi, Nick. Hi, Ty. How you doing?
I'm going to answer for her. She's doing quite good.
I'm used to being able to hear people, right? Yeah, I met Ty back in August. She's great. So obviously interrupt me if you need to.
Oh yeah, if you want to chat, like you actually want to talk, then you should write in the question box that you want to chat so I can unmute you. But as you know, there are people with dogs and all kinds of other stuff, and if I unmute everyone, it'll just be chaos.
Yeah. You're talking to the people on the call now, not me, since I'm not muted, right?
Yeah, you seem to be doing just fine.
Okay, good.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So I decided to call this the Intelligent Guide to PLR rather than the Dummies Guide, since none of us are dummies here. And everyone's going to be extremely intelligent about PLR by the time we're done. Let's get into it. There. So here's what I'm planning to cover. And as I said, I'll leave some time at the end for questions. So by the time we're done with the call, you're going to know what PLR is and where it comes from, the benefits of PLR, the most popular ways people use PLR, how to incorporate it into your content strategy, the biggest mistakes people make when they use it, and some tips for making the most of the PLR that you buy. Dan, can we just do a quick pulse check to see how many of you know what PLR and what is and what it stands for? And just type it into the...
Caesar says yes. Oh, that's from earlier. Sherry Snyder said yes. We got a couple more yeses. Oh, they're too fast now.
Okay, good.
So far, everyone says yes.
All right. Now, how many of you have used it? Anybody?
Yes. Lots of yeses now.
Oh, great. So most people are familiar. What?
Ernie said it means private label rights.
That's good.
Yes.
Lots of people don't. All right, so most people are familiar, but we're going to go.
Sherry Snyder said she hasn't used it yet. She's a little skittish on getting in trouble. That's probably a duplicate content question.
Don't worry, we're going to talk about that.
Excellent.
It's on the list.
Good one, Sherry.
So we'll go through some of the basics just to make sure we're on the same page there. All right. Let me tell you a little something about me, because I think a lot of people don't know my background. So I've been doing instructional design since about 1993, when I got out of a rather grueling stint as an investment banker, would you believe?
What is instructional design?
Well, basically it means putting together learning solutions for companies, which is you could say it's a fancy name for training and development.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you designed the Scantron sheets in high school.
Oh, God, no. God, save me. No, I go into companies and I analyze, if they have a performance issue or something like salespeople, that new salespeople not getting up to speed fast enough. So I would go in and say, okay, what do we need to do? We need to give the managers some new skills, design some new training for the new salespeople. The same with customer service or new managers, stuff like that.
Did you ever just tell them, look, this business is horrible. You should just shut it down?
When you go into something like an insurance company, that's not such a good idea.
It's not.
They go into like MetLife, who I've done a lot of work with. No. I think their stockholders would be kind of unhappy with that.
People would tell that story at parties, though.
Yeah, right. I wouldn't have any
told
work.
us just to shut down.
Just tell you you're hopeless. Sorry, you're not going to make it.
That'd be the best.
No, and no, I wouldn't have had work for very long at all. So, instructional design, yeah. Basically, my friends still don't know what I do, and when they say PLR, they're completely confused. So that's why I have to stick to online. So basically, what it means is I've been creating tons of content for years, and I've often reused it, customized it, whatever I had. You can use the same stuff in lots of different situations. But with all the ups and downs of learning and development, I decided to go online in 2009 so I could build a business that I could do from anywhere in the world without having to be tied to the schedules and locations of clients. So I think a lot of people have the same situation. And I started out with some small niche sites doing affiliate marketing, and those didn't really make the most use of my skills. So around the end of last year, I decided to start my own PLR business. I'd used some myself and wasn't very happy with the quality of most of it, except for a few sites, and there's some that have really high quality PLR. But I definitely saw some room in the market that I could fill. My site is called Business Content PLR, and I'm focusing on, as the title says, business content. It's targeted primarily for business coaches, internet marketing service providers, and small business owners. And I'm also the mom of 3 teenagers, so most of my stress comes from there rather than from starting a new business, would you believe? So enough of that. Let's get back to PLR. If I can get my screen to work. Okay, there we go. So what is PLR exactly? PLR stands for private label rights, as somebody said before. You're probably more familiar with it than you realize. So if you've ever noticed that can of peas with the supermarket's brand name on it, you know, the one that's half the price of the Jolly Green Giant, that's PLR. You've probably seen it at the drugstore or your own supermarket or places like Costco or anywhere that has their own label on a product. But online, it looks a little different. You'll find it in the form of articles, email series, ebooks, workbooks, product reviews, audio, video, recipe books, special reports, websites, even tweets, which are ready to post to social media. But the big difference is that you can actually make changes to this content. So a supermarket wouldn't be able to open up that can of peas and add carrots to it, but you can open up a PLR ebook and add case studies or take it apart and make it into articles. And I'm going to show you a quick peek at what you might get in a real pack of PLR.
You know, Walgreens, they buy their batteries from Energizer, put the Walgreens label on them.
Yeah, you know, a lot of those sorts of things are made by the same manufacturer, so you're getting the same product, just with a different label on it.
Might as well dominate both the high-paying customers and the low-paying customers.
Yeah, so they're not always made by the big companies. There are also ones that specialize just in the generic products, so it's not always the same. There was a website that just did a comparison recently on different ones, like the Oreos and the imitation Oreos, and
oh, that's
some were
blasphemy.
Yeah,
there is no imitation Oreo. There's only the Oreo.
It's true. Well, I think the results were basically that.
I refuse to acknowledge Hydrox.
Oh, so wait, let me show you these. So I pulled up and made a copy of 3 different folders in my computer, and the first one's a pack of articles plus a few other things. This is from a pack of PLR that I just put on my site. It's all on social media. So you can see there's articles in 2 different formats, in doc and text, and most sites will give you that. There's also tips on how to use your PLR, the usual README file that you'll see everywhere, outlines, tweets, strategy worksheet overview. So a little mix of things. And then here's a bunch of product reviews. So this is just product reviews all in text on some DVDs, workout DVDs. And then the last folder you see has a complete PLR ebook package. So there's folders here containing recommended affiliate programs, articles for promoting your ebook, blog posts for promoting it, the graphics for the cover, a series of follow-up emails for after you add prospects to your list, a promo email you can use to promote the book, a sales letter, the source files that are actually the ebook and an opt-in report. I don't know why they called it source files. And a squeeze page. So, and then you've got your little extras.
Now,
so
do you create all that?
I don't do these. I don't really like doing that stuff. I'm more of a writer. I wouldn't get into doing this. But there are sites that specialize in it that just give you whole packages of everything you could possibly need to put a book up, an ebook up, and sell it. Put it on ClickBank, set up your squeeze page, your sales page. They'll often have download pages and thank you pages, just everything. And people love that stuff.
Well, if you are going to write an ebook, you should buy one of these packages just to see all the stuff that's in it, so you know what you're supposed to do.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's one of the uses of PLR that we're going to get to. It's absolutely true. So these are just 3 examples, and you're going to get different things depending on the type of PLR you buy and who it's from. But first, you have to read the rights because they're different on every type of site, and they're not all PLR, even though you might think so. There's actually 3 main types of rights you're going to see, and they're all different. So resale rights are where you can resell the product as is, but you can't change it. That's the most restrictive. Then there's master resale rights where you can resell the product as is, no changing, but you can also give the buyer the resale rights as also. And with both of these, there's often restrictions as to where you can sell it. So for instance, often you're not allowed to sell them in auctions or on the Warrior Forum. And then there's the PLR that we're talking about, private label rights. These are the least restrictive, since you can do pretty much anything you want with the content other than pass on those rights to someone else. So the person who buys it just has personal use rights.
That was one of my questions.
What?
I was going to say, can I share my PLR with other people? Since
For them to use it? Technically, no. You're not supposed to. If you read the rights. Yeah, okay. You mean if you haven't used it yourself?
Yeah.
Like gift it to them?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't have a problem with it, but technically no, because some people sell just a limited number of licenses.
I see.
So that you're getting into a fuzzy gray area there.
Well, why would I ask black and white questions?
Yeah, right. Okay. Gray hat PLR, it's a new category. And you also can't use the PLR seller's name on the content. So you wouldn't buy something from me and then put my name on it. That's a no-no.
Really?
Yeah. The whole point is you can do whatever you want, but if you're doing anything you want to it, I don't want my name on it because I don't know what you're doing. Right?
That's a good point.
So just make sure you check the details, because sometimes there are other restrictions, like sometimes there's a minimum price that you can sell a product at that you've created from PLR. So for instance, some of those full ebook packages or reports might have in their rights that you can't sell it for less than like $17. So you have to check it.
And where are these rights?
There's usually a folder in the a file in the folder that you get. Like, let me just go back a sec. Whoops, you don't want to see that.
That's scary.
So like important, please read. It's probably going to be in there.
I see.
Or on the website itself, there's usually something that says PLR rules or terms of service.
So I've made the mistake of taking all the PLR that I purchased and I put it in one folder, sorted by date, but I should really keep them separated by, in their own folders so I can see the rights that are associated with each.
Yeah, that would be best. So you know what you can do with it. That's what I do. And the other thing I do is I put the name of the PLR site or person that I bought it from on the name of the folder so that I know if I like it that I can go back to that place and buy it from there. And if I don't like it, obviously I'm not going to go back to that site. So that's another way to organize it. I also have folders for PLR packs versus PLR articles, and you can divide them up by niche. So there might be weight loss PLR or internet marketing, stuff like that. So, organize it the way, however it makes sense to you, but yeah, keep it together. Oh, and you'll also see some resell PLR, which is PLR that you can sell with the PLR rights. So for instance, that's good for stocking up a new PLR store you might have. So in that case, it's best if you know there's a limit on the number of resell PLR licenses that are being sold, so you don't have PLR stores all over the place selling the same thing. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. So who creates this stuff? Not Shakespeare. You're going to find it's from a lot of different places. So there's freelance writers who often start their own PLR business to make more money from each article that they write. So rather than getting paid once, they can get paid multiple times. They're getting less per article, but they get more numbers. Then there are some PLR sellers just hire ghostwriters to write the content. And I know Nicole Dean has a whole staff of people and even has a content acquisition manager who goes out and finds good writers. There are also some who specialize in finding and repackaging good public domain content. So for instance, recipes are public domain. And people who are good at certain things will create PLR using their skills. So for example, building PLR websites, writing PLR software and plugins, designing graphics, making videos, all sorts of different forms that you can still edit yourself. All of it you get the source files and can edit. There are also some people who want to get more mileage from a product by later selling it with PLR rights. For example, Tiffany Dow sold an ebook called Building an Ebook Empire for a while. It's a straight ebook. Then she added it to her store as a PLR ebook later, which I actually managed to buy very cheaply. And then there are people like me, generalists who like to write and teach, maybe have experience in a certain area, but want a solid online business model. And why do people buy PLR in the first place? Whole bunch of reasons, starting with not having enough time to do all their content, which I think we can all relate to. You also might be in a time crunch where you need content immediately for a promotion, and maybe you can't afford a ghostwriter, but you need to outsource some of your content writing because you just don't have the time again. Or you might be running low on ideas, and you can get some really quick ones and good ones from PLR.
Let's go to that first bullet.
Okay.
Not enough time to do all their own writing.
Mm-hmm.
So we all have the same amount of time. My question is, because sometimes I see stuff like that, and I wonder, what would I be doing if I didn't have enough time to do content? Because I do a lot of content too.
Mm-hmm.
So I would think that that people buy PLR because they choose to use their time doing other things because they know they can get quality content from PLR.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, and that's part of it, because if you have someone else writing the content that you don't necessarily have to write yourself, then you can be writing, say, the other marketing content you need, or working on some of the more personal relationship stuff. Or what?
I was agreeing. I think if you're the kind of person who says they don't have time to write content, I think that is almost a cop-out because you don't have a really good plan. But instead you should say, I've decided to do these other things instead of content. That's
Yeah.
why I buy PLR.
Yeah. You're choosing to spend your time where you can add the most value.
Yeah.
I think that's the key.
I also think some people aren't very good writers, and they should acknowledge that within themselves and use PLR.
Well, of course, you have to be careful because some PLR writers aren't very good either.
Yeah.
So you have to be picky, make sure you know what you're getting. But yeah, that's true. There are some who are just fantastic, and you look at the writing and say, hey, I might as well just take this and work with it because it's better than what I'd write myself. But yeah, your point, you add, always the best is to spend your time where you add the most value. And that may mean outsourcing by buying PLR.
Yeah, it really is like hiring a writer.
Yeah.
Which lots of companies do.
Only a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
So if you can't afford the ghostwriter, then you can buy the PLR. Or you can use a ghostwriter also to rewrite the PLR, which we're going to talk about a little later.
Excellent.
Okay. Also, if you don't know that much about a subject, it serves as research. Well, there's already the information there, and it's a great starting point and can serve as a rough draft for you. In a lot of cases, there's PLR that already has the basics of what you need, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel by creating something from scratch. And finally, like we talked about before, there's a lot of people who just like the idea of having something that's ready to sell. And you'll see a lot of PLR like that, just ready to go businesses in a box. So those are some of the reasons. All right, but why don't we take a look at how people use it in reality. And these are some of the most popular ways. I'm going to go through each one of them in a little more detail. But as an overview, most people use it to promote a product, create a product, as content for affiliates, as content for list building, and for basic research and templates that you can use to speed up your content creation. Duplicate content, which I think Sherry, was it, that asked about this?
She actually said she was skittish of using it, not knowing if she would get in trouble, but I'm not sure that duplicate content was her question. I'm just assuming.
Well, it's kind of related. So, and I know a lot of people worry about that issue, or similar with PLR. So first, here's what Google means by duplicate content as a basic definition. It refers to more than one page being the same on a single domain. And it also means that more than one page on different domains is exactly the same. And the whole reason that it's a problem is that Google doesn't want all the results that show up on page 1 to have the exact same content for one search phrase, and neither do we. So they need a way to filter out the duplicates somehow. But it doesn't mean you get penalized. It just means that if your page is the exact same as someone else's, you could end up either on page 1 or buried somewhere in the depths of the results. They just don't want everything on the first page. So Google will pick 1 or 2 to represent all of the content that's the same. And usually the ones that have the highest quality content and authority are going to win the battle. So all you have to do is add value to your content so that it's not the same as everyone else's. And there's no magic numbers and percentages of unique content that you have to create. No one really knows exactly how Google figures these things out. You know, they keep this a closely guarded secret, all their algorithms. But if you just focus on creating something that's valuable for your readers, it's always going to be your best bet. But this only matters for content that you want to have show up in searches. So you're certainly not going to get into trouble anywhere else. And then for a lot of the ways we're going to talk about, there's no duplicate content issue at all. It doesn't matter for emails or a membership site, certainly not for print materials or your free squeeze page giveaways or ebooks that you're selling. The only issues with those that you need to worry about is whether it fits your content needs in your market. Where search does matter, we'll talk about ways to quickly rewrite your PLR a little later. All right, does that make sense? I know it can be confusing, duplicate content. So let's go through each of the ways that people use it. First off is for promoting products, whether they're your own or an affiliate product. And marketers primarily use the PLR articles or other forms that are related to a product to demonstrate their expertise on that topic. So they'll publish it on their blog, they'll rewrite the articles for article directories or guest posts, they'll reformat it for other media, so use it to create video or audio, slideshows, even webinars like this. And then they might have those articles pointing to a product review that they either wrote themselves, or they might even have used a PLR product review, which you can also buy. And to promote a product even more, you can use the PLR articles or a PLR email series, you can buy them as emails, and include a link back to your blog or directly to a sales page for the product. In fact, sometimes PLR sellers will even include a list of suggested affiliate programs you can promote. That'll be one of the extras in their pack. So you're getting everything you need right there to promote something. And here, with this nice graphic, I love the new PowerPoint, by the way, this lovely graphic shows you how much content you have to create to really promote a product well and drive traffic to it so you can make a lot of sales. So you can see you need an email series, blog content, content for your social media sites, videos, podcasts, webinars, PDFs, etc. It's going to depend on what you're promoting, obviously, and how much effort you want to put into it. But with PLR, you can make it easier to create this all and be everywhere at once rather than trying to do it all from scratch. So next is creating a product. And a lot of people use the PLR to create a product. And there's a few different ways I'm going to look at. The first is that ready-to-go product in a box. You're going to see these all over the Warrior Forum and on some PLR sites that specialize in this type of thing. And people love them. There are even whole lead generation websites with email series. For example, I just saw one recently on the Warrior Forum, of course, that had a lead generation website, the full website for offline marketers who were marketing their services to offline businesses. And it also included a ready-to-use sales video, an opt-in report, a series of follow-up emails for them to send to the offline businesses, articles for the website, and I can't even remember what else. There was so much in there. So some of these packages do come with everything. With the sales pages, they'll have graphics that you can edit. And you saw that earlier with that mobile marketing package that I showed, where I showed you what was in the folder. Some people use them as is and just put it online and promote it, and just do the marketing. And other marketers add their own value by rewriting it a bit or packaging it up with other things, so they'll just add to it. At the absolute minimum, I'd still suggest changing the graphics or at least the title, at least. Because you don't want to have, 100 of these out there with the exact same name.
When I actually use PLR, I do quick keyword research to find out what my best shot is for that particular theme.
Yep.
And then I just at least rewrite it so that it's keyworded for what I need it to be keyworded for.
Yeah, absolutely. At the minimum, I'd have your own keyword and that's what you're going to promote with that keyword.
Because and you were saying about duplicate content a minute ago. Every newspaper on the planet uses Associated Press articles, and they're all the same. So if you search for the Japanese earthquake when it happened, there's only going to be one original Associated Press article is going to show up. The rest are going to be the people who's tweaked it slightly.
Yep.
So if you actually want to be found, you have to tweak it slightly.
Yeah, there might be two, but also it might be the exact same article, but other things around on that page are different. And there's some other ways that that people do that with just, it depends on the mix of articles on the page, and I don't know. There's all sorts of complicated ways that people use to get around it. Different pop-ups and what do you call it? Dynamic content, stuff like that. Far too complicated to be worth it, at least for me. So moving on, mix and match. This one I love because you can take a pack of articles on, say, you're basically mixing and matching stuff from different PLR sellers, so not from the same website. You could take a pack of articles on, say, how to use webinars for marketing from one store. And then you could take a tutorial on how to set up a webinar from another store. Another PLR site might have a good webinar template that you can sell. And then you put it all together and you've got a whole training course on how to use webinars in your business. You might even find an email series for promoting this type of coaching product. It's great. I mean, I'll create a giveaway by taking the best pages from different article packs, cutting and pasting them into one document in a nice logical order, and then I'll edit it so that it flows well. There's good transitions between each section. I might have to add some of my own content, but the finished product is unique, and it's taken the best of everything. So that's why I love that. And it's easy. You're not starting from scratch. Let's see, cut up and rework it. This is another one that's great for creating a different product. You can take, say, a chapter from an ebook, or take each chapter and make it into an e-course that you could deliver in sections to a list of subscribers. You could break up the same ebook into short reports by just expanding each chapter a little. You can take a short report and break that up into an email series or a series of blog posts. Then you could take it even further down and take, say, key points from an article and use them as tips and status updates on your social media, and schedule out your tweets, little tips in advance. So all of that, just keep breaking it up or combining it. Along the same lines, you can transform it into a totally new medium. So you can take an article and use it as a script for a video. You would just take the key points from the article, put them on slides, and then read the article as you record yourself moving through each slide. You want to add some natural speech to it, but that's all you'd have to do. A series of articles could also be used for a series of podcasts. And again, the article serves as a script. Here's an interesting one. An ebook could be reformatted as a Kindle book or a print book. But the main thing here is that you do have to rewrite it. Amazon had some issues with people using PLR to create Kindle books, so they've started cracking down on this. Unless you're lucky enough to be the first one to create it, but that's definitely not worth taking the chance. So one good example would be a Kindle recipe book, like the one that was done last week. You could do it just by getting some PLR recipes, and there are some sites that specialize just in that. You could take a bunch of PLR recipes that are related, add an intro, a conclusion, an image, and your links, and you're ready to go. That's it. That's probably, how you can do it as quickly as he did last week. And finally, any type of PLR could just be put in a different format. So you could make a mind map out of it with the key points, or a checklist, or a worksheet. And let's just go through a few other ways, because there's even more that I've got. Content for your affiliates. This is the sort of content you don't really need to edit at all, but you could create some rebrandable reports by buying a PLR report or putting together some related articles, then edit it to include some examples and information related to your products, and then put some affiliate links in that your own affiliates can change. And they don't even necessarily have to be links to your products, because affiliates will appreciate if there's other links they can put in. And you can create other content that your affiliates can share, like use articles and emails and video. And all of this you can use PLR for. Let's see. Content to build your list. This is probably, again, one of the really popular ways to use PLR. And the main thing is to use it to create opt-in freebies, like reports and e-courses and webinars and stuff. But you could also use it for offline list building. So you could take some and create a seminar or a printed giveaway for people that are marketing to offline businesses. They can take some PLR, print it out as a nice brochure, and then when they go have a meeting, they can hand it to them and say, here you go, a little educational material for you. And lastly, you can buy PLR email series to build your relationship. You could create a nice email series with tips and educational information about your field and schedule them even a year or more in advance by combining a series of them. With most of it, all you have to do is add your own intros and closings, your link and a PS, and you're ready to go. Just stick it in your Aweber or whatever scheduler you have. Last one that I'm just going to talk about now today is PLR for research and templates, which is probably my favorite way, because the really high quality PLR has good research behind it. So it saves you a lot of time scouring the web. It's also a very quick way to learn about a topic, because some of these sites, the people know what they're talking about. They've done the research. If you don't know it, you can buy one of those packs, read it, and you become an expert very quickly. Though you should still do some of your own research. Never rely completely on one person. And it's templates. This can be your rough draft. You don't even have to use the actual content. You could, like you were saying earlier, Dan, you can just use those sales pages and stuff over and over. So if you have a pack like that with the sales page and reports and stuff, you can just take the content out and put your own in. You've got a template that's ready to go and you can use over and over again in the future.
Yeah, the whole folder is a template of all the stuff you need to have done.
Yeah, it's all ready to go, and I've done that. I don't know how to create a sales page necessarily. That's really good. I just go in and took everything out and put my own stuff in. It was all ready. So I love that. And those are the most popular ways. I'm sure people use it for other stuff too. There are 101 more ways that you can do it. But I'm going to go through how you can use it as part of a content marketing strategy. So are there any questions before I go into that? Just to make sure. Are we good, Dan?
I haven't seen any new questions. I think people are listening.
Okay, good. Well, now we've got more to talk about because
I only have one person that it looks like that is actually not paying attention.
Get back here.
I know, they're in a different tab on their computer. My little thing says they're not up. That person's paying attention now.
Okay, get back here. Because I have a nice graphic here to go through. So this is an overview of how you can incorporate PLR into a content marketing strategy and all your content marketing. I go into a little more detail in the opt-in report I referred to before that's on my site. But I'm going to try not to spend too long on any of them. They're not as confusing as it might look with all these boxes. The first couple steps are just part of any content marketing. You need a clear purpose for your content, and it should be keyword optimized, as you were saying, Dan. Your purpose could be part of the content needs, for instance, for your marketing calendar. You know you have promotions coming up, you need content for them. And as we said, you need to identify the keywords you want to use for your content. This is just standard keyword research. Dan, I know you did a whole call on keyword tools, so I'm not going to go into this. That's a whole seminar on its own. Now, ideally, you shouldn't buy your PLR until after you know what you're going to do with it, Dan.
Yeah. Sometimes that shiny button syndrome kicks in, and that $5 special is too hard to pass up.
I know. I have a lot of it. So if you already know your purpose and keywords for the content you need, it's a lot easier to buy it, but sometimes you will see something you know that you can use, and you should keep your eye out anyway because it's not always right there when you need it. So you want to keep your eyes out for content that is related to what you're working on. For that, just get on your favorite PLR sellers lists, and then all of them alert you when they have new stuff. So you can keep your eye out for that. And if you don't have something that already fits what you need, all you have to do is go look at the sites you already know, obviously, and otherwise do a Google search with your main keyword plus the word PLR. And there's a ton of them out there. You just have to look at their free stuff first to make sure it's decent quality.
I don't know if in your research one a moment ago, I should have mentioned, but you can actually take a sentence from the PLR and put it into Google, and Google will find that sentence everywhere else on the web that somebody has used that PLR and didn't change it. So if you wanted to find out what other sites are using that information, find out who your competitors are, or find JV partners, you can do that.
What do you mean? You're not talking about whether it's duplicate, are you?
Yeah, yeah, you can find all the duplicated stuff by just copying and pasting a sentence from it right into Google, or any 8-word phrase. And anybody who didn't modify it will show up.
Well, you'll see if they didn't modify part of it, because a lot of people just modify parts of it.
I know, but
if they haven't changed it at all, you can.
As long as that 8-word phrase shows up, it'll find that 8-word phrase anywhere on the web that 8-word phrase exists.
Yeah, I guess you could find people that used it, but they still might have made other changes to it, which would be interesting to see.
What changes they made?
Yeah, exactly. If you happen to get the one sentence. But you can also, if you really don't want to have to change it and you want to see if you're the first one, you could technically take a whole article and put it in Copyscape, and if nothing shows up, then you may be the first person to have that PLR and not change it. But I would still edit it. Let's see.
Yeah, because you still might not be the first person indexed.
Yeah, I guess so. I didn't think about the indexing. I was thinking about people coming after you
later. They can come after you and be indexed first.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I guess so if they're higher authority?
Well, for instance, the coupon bloggers who post 20 times a day, the Google bots are at their site, 20 times, 100 times, 1,000 times in a day. If you only post once every week, they get used to that schedule, and you won't get indexed for, a couple more days.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. But still, I wouldn't want to have my stuff the same as everybody else's if you're looking at being ranked in Google.
Mm-hmm. No.
It's just not going to look good. So I'd always make changes. Next step. So read what you just bought. You need to know what's in it. I know this sounds like a no-brainer, but you need to know what's in it before you really know what you can do with it. For example, some articles you buy are just big blocks of text. And if you don't read it, you don't know what the key points are and what the content is covering. So don't just blindly publish it. Read it first.
We have a question.
Yes.
Ernie would like to know if you said that you can't put your name or links into a PLR product.
You can't put the seller's name in it. You can put your name, your links. You can do anything you want. You just can't, read the rights. But for most PLR, you can do anything you want, put your name on it. You just cannot put the PLR seller's name, and you can't give someone else the PLR rights.
That's basically taking money out of your pocket.
What do you mean? Oh, yeah. But it's also devaluing it, because then there's even more people that have it.
Yeah.
Right? So it's even more places. It would just
flood
everything.
If it's your business, it's just kind of mean.
Yeah, well, that doesn't stop some people.
No.
In fact, there was someone recently, I think it was Tiffany Dow, who found that somebody on another PLR site, obviously not one of the better ones, had taken some of hers illegally and was selling it as their PLR.
Nice.
Yeah, she wasn't too happy, to say the least. All right, let's move on. So next you have to decide what format you want to put the content into. So this should line up with whatever your content goal was, that your purpose was in the beginning. You might already have decided this. So otherwise, once you know what's in it, you might want to put it into an article, decide that it's best suited for an article or a video or a slideshow. All this stuff that we talked about before. That's just a decision point. And then I always like to create an outline if I don't already have one.
Are you waiting for me to say something?
Is in what you bought. You might be changing or adding it once you've read it. And an outline just speeds up the writing and rewriting and just general content creation tremendously. In fact, it's what most writers do, what we all learned in school and probably hated, but it works. And it also makes it easier to use it later for other media. So if you have an outline, you suddenly have bullet points that you can put on slides. And like I said, it just makes it easier to write it. But obviously, if you're making very few changes, you don't need the outline. And then most of the time you are going to want to do some level of rewriting, if only to put your own twist and brand on it. Or you may be completely rewriting everything. So I think we're going to have time to just go through that a little more closely. In fact, how are we doing? Yes. I think we have time. All right. So tips.
2 questions for you.
Okay, go ahead.
What would I need to do to legally sell PLR?
To sell someone else's PLR or to create your own to sell, like your own PLR store?
I'll wait for that clarification. The second one is, do you have experience that one PLR producer buys from another PLR producer, and I buy the same article from 2 different PLR producers? You were just talking about it while I was writing about it. Sounds like the same situation you were just talking about. Somebody stole PLR from somebody else. They were both selling it, and one person bought both.
That could happen, I guess.
What do you do?
You can't do anything.
You're just hosed?
Well, what you could do is go back to one of them and say, I already have this, and hopefully they'll just give you your money back. And if it's something like resell PLR, where say I bought some resell PLR from someone else that I got the rights to resell it for, I have the right to sell it, and so do the other people. So yeah, you could end up with the same stuff. I don't think that happens very often, but it certainly can. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you on that, honestly.
Perils of doing business online.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, legally, if the person had the rights to resell it, then that's just the way it is. So you go ask. It doesn't hurt to ask, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's what I would do.
And get what you don't ask for.
Right, exactly. What was the other question? There was another one?
Yeah, it has been clarified. I purchased a PLR product from a reputable seller. Now I want to do the same thing. What would I need to do?
I still don't understand. I'm sorry. You mean you want to create your own and you create your own PLR to sell? Not use that product, but create your own from scratch?
Or do you want to sell the thing that you just bought, Ernie?
Yeah, because
he wants to sell PLR.
Oh, well, that's
Ernie could, yeah.
Ernie
could sell PLR.
Oh, okay. Well, you can start a business selling PLR. There's a few courses I could point you to Peggy Barron does a great one. That's the one I started out with. That's called How to Become a PLR Writer. Then Tiffany Dow has a course called PLR ATM. I used the two of those together when I was starting out, and it had all the details I needed. There are a couple other newer ones too, but I loved those. So that's what I would recommend. I can't go into all of it here, but it's not that complicated. It's just you need to have written content, set up a website and a shopping cart, and start marketing like crazy. Get your name out.
Mm-hmm.
And like any business, you need to have your own twist and figure out your own unique value proposition, your unique selling proposition. So yeah, let's just keep moving on for now. So hopefully I can get through this, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Rewriting. Tips for rewriting. So you're going to want to preferably rewrite at different levels depending on what you need. So it might be based on the time you have, or whether you need to rank in the search engines, whether you need to customize more to your market's needs or your goals, and the variety of content. I did an article not that long ago over at Kelly McCausey's blog, and I compared it to levels of spiciness. So at the mild level, you would just rewrite the title and include your target keywords in strategic places. So you've done your keyword research and you're focusing on that. At the medium, you do a little more editing, like adding a new intro and a conclusion, and adding some sentences here and there, changing some sentences. The next level, the hot, you'd add some of your own, examples and additional content. You might be taking some content out, moving things around, perhaps. Extra hot, do a total rewrite. So this is where the outline comes in really handy. You put all your key points into your own outline, and you sit down and write it. And I just did this recently by taking some points from a few different articles in a pack, putting my own twist on them, and then just wrote something completely different from anything in that pack. But I had the basis for it, some of the key points there. And then finally, on fire, is where you'd put it in a totally different medium. So like the article to video idea we talked about earlier. Right?
Oh, yeah.
So last couple steps are where you're just ready to format everything and get it out there. So you've done your whatever level of rewriting you want to do, and you just put it in the format you planned. That could be as simple as just adding some subheaders and a pretty image or two. And you mustn't forget to put in your links. So if you have affiliate links or links to your own product or post or sites, and if you're using for article marketing or guest blogging, you want to add your resource box of links. So again, it's the same as you would do with any other content. And then you finish up, naturally, with final things that you do with any content. Publish it, promote it, measure the results. And that's PLR in content marketing. It's not that different from any content marketing plan. It's just that you have the content already available and you just have to customize it to however you need it. And then you can also take the same content and go back and go through this again and use it for another purpose, which you should do for any content you have. It's your intellectual property. You shouldn't waste it. Because the more ways you use it, the more people get to see it and experience it and learn from it. How are we doing on time? Because I want to show you the process.
We're right at 1 hour right now.
Ooh. All right. Well, I have an example, but let me see how fast I can do it.
No, we're not
So
fine.
All right. So here's a process that I went through using to create a couple articles. My goal was to promote my new social media PLR pack, right? And I needed 2 articles, one for my blog, one for a guest blog. Did a little keyword research, came up with the keyword social media marketing outsourcing, which I got from Word Tracker, as it wasn't very competitive, had a decent number of searches. I didn't need to buy any PLR because I was going to just use some key points from the pack itself. So I read through, mainly through the outlines that I had, because I just have outlines already, and picked out some different key points. I also already decided that I wanted to write articles, make them into something that had tips around the topic. So after going through, I picked out some ideas and points from different outlines and went ahead and just created 2 outlines for 2 different articles. One was on mistakes you can make outsourcing your social media, and I based that off of 3 different mistakes that was in an article that had a list of top 10. So I was just picking out certain things. And with the other one, I picked out some solutions for social media outsourcing and just added some of my own ideas around outsourcing. And then all I had to do was write the articles, which didn't take very long because I already knew the stuff from reading it and organizing it, made it look pretty with subheaders and bullets and an image. And then I just had to write my resource box for the guest post and PS for the PLR. So it didn't take very long, and in the end, here I'll show you what it looked like. This is the outline that I put together for one of them, and you can see that I just had a title, I did a little intro, the typical 5-paragraph essay, which always works, 3 points and some sub-bullets. And then this is part of one of the articles. So you can see I took one of those 3 points, the sub-bullets, and then I just added a couple sentences on each. And I was, that didn't take long at all. I can't really show you much more of it because there just isn't room. But I want to just go through, before we finish up, the biggest mistakes that people make so that you can avoid them. And number 1 is buying the huge bulk packs. So if you think you're getting 5,000 articles for $1 at a great deal, just don't bother. At best, it's usually junk, and at worst, it's scraped or even stolen content, like I said before. You'll see this on Fiverr a lot. Spinning, it's a little more controversial. There are some PLR sellers who will include a spinnable version of their articles. I personally think it's a waste of your time. PLR is cheap to start with. It's meant to save you time. So why waste your time trying to carefully work out different permutations of words and sentences that won't necessarily produce something that readable? I know people still do it. It's just my personal opinion that your time can be better spent elsewhere. Not reading it first, I talked about this before. It's a big mistake. Some people do it. You can't be an expert if you don't actually learn your topic. So don't publish something that you don't know anything about. And you risk, if you haven't read it, you risk publishing something that has mistakes in it or just isn't well written. Not editing it, I really do encourage you to do some editing. Add that spice and personality, make it customized to your market. It doesn't have to take a lot of time. Could even be just some examples. Most PLR is written in a pretty generic form so that it will fit any market. So you need to make it a little more personal so that it rings true for your readers and sounds like it comes from you. And finally, the biggest mistake is not using it at all. It's a sad fact. A lot of PLR that people buy just sits on their computers gathering dust. Dan, I'm going to keep giving you a hard time. But if you do have a plan before you buy it, what?
It still sits there.
It's still sitting there. You're going to have to make a plan.
It's aging.
Before we go. Yeah, it gets better with age,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, that's not PLR. And, well, it might be evergreen. If it's evergreen content, then maybe. By the time you get around to using it, it'll be brand new again.
Exactly.
Let me finish up with just some tips. And then we can get to some questions. So try and mix it with your own content. Don't just publish all PLR articles on a blog. Try alternating it with some of your own content. So when you're stuck for an idea, great, use a PLR article and edit a bit. But then make the next one something else that's yours, just yours. And then make sure you also add your own personality and customize it to your market. Don't leave it generic. And as I think I mentioned earlier, you can even use a ghostwriter to rewrite and transform it. It's a lot cheaper than hiring a writer to create something from scratch. People just give a ghostwriter a set of PLR articles and have them rewrite them. Think outside the box. So don't keep it in the same form. Anywhere you need content is an opportunity to use PLR. Absolutely anywhere where you have to write or create something. So think about that. And finally, said before, reuse it. Reuse it multiple times, just as you would with any content. And that is it. That's all I got. Unless people have more.
All right, well,
questions.
One person, I'm going to unmic someone so they can actually speak.
Okay.
So they can tell you better their question. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Attendee. Let's go through the list.
Ah.
Ernie.
Ouch.
Ernie, you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Oh, you're a little quiet, but yes.
How about now?
Better.
Oh, hi. Anyway, I hope it gets better. Okay, let's say I bought a PLR product, and I bought it specifically to make $1 on it, to revise it, and I also want to sell it. So I'm wondering and I want to do it legally, because I want to build up my name. This guy that sold it, of course, I bought it off of Warrior Forum, and I'm going to use the niche trimming horses' hoofs to keep it simple. So that's what I want to specialize in. But from what you said, it's not legal for me to resell it, but I want to do it legal. What do I have to do to get, I guess, PLR rights to resell?
Was it PLR that you bought? Did it have the rights?
Yes, and I actually thought I am buying the rights to resell it, but when I opened the file, one of the things it does say that I am not allowed to sell it. And so I'm kind of stuck. Is there a way around that legally without, screwing the guy or doing it ethically?
Well, did it say that you can't sell the rights, or did it say that you can't sell the product?
I can't sell it as a reseller. I can't sell it to somebody to resell.
So that means you can sell it as a product to someone else.
Yes.
But they cannot resell it.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
I want to do both.
Oh, you can't do both.
Okay.
Yeah, the whole point is that you can sell it to someone for them to use, but not for them to sell.
Okay. Is there such a thing as doing that? Or is that like going north and south at the same time?
You'd have to buy the resale rights, and if they didn't offer them, then you basically have to create something brand new yourself. I mean,
okay, something that I can sell to you, and you can resell it.
Yeah.
That's basically what I want to do.
Yeah, but you can't buy someone else's, and then if it doesn't have the resale rights, and then give someone else, sell it to someone else for them to sell. So yeah, what you're asking to do, unless you bought the resale rights as well, you can't do that. You got to read those rights really carefully.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Jane, did you want to ask? You're a shy person? All right, Jane says, I still have mistrust in this. For instance, why would I need to hire a ghostwriter to rewrite PLR? How can I trust the research experience of the PLR product?
Well, I think that's part of knowing who you're buying from and getting to know different sites. So if you're not sure about the research, I would check it. So read it. There are some sites I already trust because I know them, like Nicole Dean or some of the others, because I know they do good research. But if I wasn't sure, and even with them, I would go and check. I'd go on Google or somewhere else and check their facts, because you do need to be careful.
I would add that if you're running your own business, you should have a little bit of money in your budget that will allow you to just test a couple different products. Buy a couple of different PLRs and see what you like and what you don't. Don't try to hit a home run on the first one and only have enough money to buy, one article.
Well, and most of the PLR sites have some free stuff, so you can sample it and see what their writing's like.
Would you say that the free stuff is a good representation of that person's paid stuff?
Well, you'll know the first time you buy something that if it isn't the same quality, then you're not going to trust them again, are you?
What would you say makes a person like yourself offer some of your PLR free?
Because I want people to see the quality. So how are they going to, rather than them having to buy something and take a chance, it just takes that risk away by giving them some for free. And I did a whole free WSO with a huge pack of PLR just so that people could see, just to build a reputation. It's just, it's a tough market anywhere out there. So you have to give stuff away for free, no matter who you are, whether it's PLR or something else. Building a relationship and the trust, you show them what you have to offer, like giving away some free information.
I think that's analogous to the, the radio, the music business, right? You want your best song on the radio, so people like it and buy it, and it doesn't cost you anything to listen to the radio, so it's very similar.
Yeah, except the free PLR you can use. You're not supposed to steal that stuff off the radio,
What? I thought that's what the boom boxes were for back in the day.
Record it all.
Yeah. I actually called a disc jockey once when Genesis was popular, and I asked him not to talk at the beginning of the song so that I could record it. I think I was like 6th or 7th grade. Please don't talk at the beginning.
Actually, I want to know if it's okay to go to the library and rent out one of those DVDs and then load it onto your computer into iTunes.
Mm-hmm.
Is that not right?
It is interesting.
But that's off subject completely.
That's probably fair use, and it's probably not okay because you don't own the original.
Yeah.
But you can rip it to
let's
your
not
computer
get into that.
if you stuck it on the shelf. So yeah.
It's like that resale thing. I can't sell it then to somebody else, but I can listen to it.
Going back to why would you hire a ghostwriter to rewrite PLR? If you find somebody who's just really good at editing, but just isn't creative or, it isn't a content producer, I think a good combination is buy PLR and use that person's strengths to edit it and make it perfect.
Yep.
So, maybe that person just not good at research and all that other stuff.
Yep. It's easier sometimes to edit and rewrite.
Yeah.
And you know what? Another thing I've done in the past when I've hired ghostwriters for stuff is I just had them do more than one version because it's quick once you have something to change it.
It's quick if you're good at it.
Yeah. Well, that's a whole thing. Finding a good ghostwriter is a big challenge on its own. At least with PLR, you know what you're getting if you're buying from one site. Ghostwriters I've been through several of them to try and get good stuff. I don't
understand ghostwriters. If you're good at writing, why wouldn't you just create your own information-rich site that you make all the money from?
Well, that's why some of them get into PLR.
Yeah.
But it's tough. It's tough to start a site and start marketing it and get people to your site. Ghostwriters, they have to build up their own name and stuff. And I know Tiffany Dow was a ghostwriter initially. She's ghostwriter to the gurus. That's her handle. But she got into PLR, I guess, after seeing the opportunity to make more money out of her work. But it's a lot easier to just put your name on something like Odesk. And people come to you. But you're never going to make as much money.
I always tell the ones that I think are good, like, why don't you just write for yourself so you can make money from that article forever?
Yeah, but it's a marketing thing. It's not so easy. If you don't know how to market it. So Yeah, I always wonder about that, though. There's people that are article writers, and they say they make thousands of dollars from one article. I don't know how they do that.
I get thousands. I was looking at Jeff Herring's stats the other day, and his and mine are almost identical in terms of number of views per article, which is around 1,300. But then to say that some people make that much money from an article is crazy to me, because it's a numbers game.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. Maybe you should do another call just on that. How to make money from your articles and article marketing.
Yeah, to make $1 from every person who visits, that would be very interesting.
Yeah.
I'd pay a lot of money for that advice.
Okay, there you go. You got your next topic.
I know how to get it viewed, but then to turn every reader into a buyer. That's impressive.
Yeah, I've seen those facts. Again, I think it was also on the Warrior Forum, somebody saying how they did one article and made like, $3,000, $4,000, whatever it was from one article. And it was article marketing, so they're not talking about an article on their own website. Somebody said, because corporate clients will pay big bucks to technical writers. That's not what these people were talking about, though. They were talking about syndicating the articles and making money from it that way.
Well, I syndicate a lot of articles, but it's not for making money. Interesting.
No, you're doing it for links. They're doing it for traffic and making money out of it.
All right, well, we're about an hour and 12 minutes. So if there are other good questions, pop them in there so we can get them answered so we don't hold you to 2 hours.
Yeah, I see somebody's comment there. The tracking's screwed up if they say they make thousands on one article. Okay, we'll ask them for some proof.
I don't actually go in the Warrior Forum.
I thought you just sold something.
I created the product and I gave it to Darren, and Darren did his magic in the Warrior Forum. But I've made like 2 posts in 5 years. I don't go there.
It's very frustrating because you see people selling this really, really big stuff at really tiny amounts, really cheap. And figure how on earth am I going to compete with that? I don't want to spend hours and hours creating something that's being sold for $1. But I guess they do it for numbers.
Is pretty good.
Yeah, if you can get the numbers, if you're getting enough traffic to it. But then I think there's tricks for that and getting WSO of the day and things like that. I don't know.
So Ty, Nick, the question about how can you turn PLR into a membership site? Or do you have an example?
I don't have an example. I know you could set one up and use the articles as content. You could create products out of it and put it as resources in the membership site. So it depends what kind of membership site you're doing. Now, do you have a topic in mind?
And then Sherry was interested in how you created your flow graphic.
PowerPoint 2010, baby. Love it. It's the smart art graphics in PowerPoint 2010. It's the greatest thing. I did something else somewhere. No? Oh, it was a good investment. I'm not very good at doing slides and graphics, but this just has the templates ready. So you just stick it in. This is all from their templates and design, and then a bunch of clip art. You can tell I went a little crazy with all the clip art. I was having a good time. Isn't it good? It was fun.
Well, I'll let you get to your last slide, Ty. We can talk about that in our next mastermind meeting.
Yeah, Ty, that we can brainstorm on that one. Yeah, so I put up a 50% off coupon for everyone on the call. Master 50. It's just for the next 72 hours, and you have to use this link. Dan, you probably want to put that into the chat box. easycontentplr.com.
It's an awesome domain name.
Yeah, I love it. It's great. And I have an affiliate program already. I'm getting some banners made up too. You can just, if you get in the beginning, you're cookied for life. So get in now.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. And just out of curiosity and interest, some of the popular stuff on my site so far, business planning. I think I've sold more of that than anything, which is kind of interesting considering your marketing calendar stuff. A lot of planning issues that people are having. Offline marketing was big. Online reputation management was big. And I've got one coming up on personal branding, which I hope will be big. But, you know, I said I'm focusing on business stuff. There are people that just do weird niches. I think I saw one. What was the one I saw? On vacuums. Somebody had vacuum product reviews.
That's not so weird. I have to buy a new vacuum this week.
Okay, well, maybe you should buy the PLR because it's all product reviews. And you can pick out which vacuum you want.
I would rather just hire the writer to tell me which one I need to buy.
Oh, okay.
Just tell me what
expensive.
I need.
Oh, you don't want to do the research.
I kind of do, but not really.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a lot of fun to me.
No, it isn't. $400 I didn't need, apparently.
Yeah, well, I don't want to talk about vacuums. Mine is terrible. It's a sore topic right now.
Ty's got a vacuum site. Ty has every site there is, and just one of them happens to be a vacuum site.
No, you're kidding.
So you need to tell her where the PLR is.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll look it up. Ty, I'll tell you. Let me make a note. I have an email somewhere from the person. I'm on everybody's list. I get every PLR email there is. All right.
Lisa Stoops PLR a la carte.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that sounds right. Her stuff is good.
I just came up with that off the top of my head.
She has a course now too. I think it's Lisa's. A how to sell PLR course. You know, for people that want to start their own PLR site. All right, she's great.
All right, unfortunately, we have to wrap up.
Yeah, I think we're set.
This has been call number 65C with Free Weekly Mastermind. You can catch this call again. The replay will be at freeweeklymastermind.com/members, as they all are. You're all welcome to join if you aren't already. We appreciate Sharyn coming on. I think that was excellent. I hope you guys listened to the replay many, many times. And do take advantage of her offer. 50% off is pretty darn good, especially if you're just trying to figure the whole thing out. No better way to start.
Yep. Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it.
Sharyn,
Thanks,
Sharyn,
everyone.
You got anything?
No, we appreciate it, Sharyn. This is some great information, and I think the members will be a good position to take advantage of your offer and put PLR to work for their business. So thank you very much.
Thank you. It was really great. Thanks for inviting me on. Appreciate it. And anyone have any other questions, just catch me in the group.
Yes.
All right. All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.